Okay. So first off, what's your name?
Jim
What's your whole name?
Fosdick, Fosdick.
Did your parents...
Like Fearless Fosdick.
Like Fearless Fosnick? Was that your nickname? I'm going to take pictures of all your fun stuff if that's okay.
Sure.
So, do you like to go by Fearless? What do you want me to call you?
No, that's fine.
Fearless? I like that. It's fun. Do you know where your parents came up with your name?
Well, they called my dad that down at the shop where he worked. He was an engineer. And it just passed on.
That's cool. So, was your dad's name Jim? And so, are you a junior?
Yep.
Are you the only boy?
Yep.
Do you have any siblings?
I have 2 boys.
But do you have any brothers or sisters?
Only one sister alive. The younger sister died when she was pretty young.
What are their names?
Her name was Joyce. She's gone. And the other one is Barbara Jean.
Oh, I like that name. Where were you born?
Michigan.
What town?
Pontiac.
And how did you grow up there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, just north of Pontiac, about 8 miles. Clarkston, where I went to high school.
And so what was Pontiac like when you grew up?
Pardon?
What was the town like when you were growing up?
Well, it's a town.
Did you like it?
Oh, yes.
Was it
I
small?
had a choice of going to Clarkston or to Pontiac. Of course, Pontiac was bigger, and I didn't like the school. I only went one day and transferred to Clarkston.
Is it a big town?
Oh, fair size.
Yeah. How'd you end up in St. Mary's?
Well, the story is that I came out here to die.
Oh. There you go.
That's what they tell me.
Is it? Do you have family here?
Close family, you mean, or?
Yeah.
I only have one sister. She's in, well, she used to go back from Michigan to Florida in the wintertime, but she's not going to do it anymore. She's in Waterford, Michigan, where we went to high school. Well, we went to grade school.
So that's why I wondered if anybody was here in Idaho. Do you have people here?
My son is here.
Oh, okay. So that's how you ended up here with your son.
Well, no, he's, I don't know if he got out here before I did or I got here before he did. Well, it's a long story, but I owned this house out here near Calder, and I've owned it for a long time, but I didn't live in it. And so I lived in it for a couple, 3 years. I gave it to him.
Oh, that was nice.
So he's living there now.
That was perfect. What were your favorite things to do when you were a kid, like younger than high school, like a little kid?
How young?
Like younger than high school, what kind of stuff did you like to do?
I don't remember.
You know, oh, that's fine.
And
How about in high school? Did you like to play sports?
started flying when I was 10.
Flying? Oh, what did you fly?
Airplanes.
Well, what kind of airplane?
My dad and I went over and bought a Piper Cub. And I had 2 sisters. They were out chasing boys. And my dad and I were flying. Weekends, and sometimes I met him at the airport on Wednesday when we fly. So my mother was alone. So she took up flying.
So she was flying too?
She got a license and flew with us.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So, how many seats did the plane have that you...
First one we had was 2.
So you and your dad?
Yeah, but I flew, well, I'll just tell you a little story. They were having an air show in an airport north of us about, 30, 40 miles, something like that. I don't remember. And a lot of things going on up there. I flew my dad up, and we spent a little time, and I left him there, went back and got my mother and flew her up. And we still had the Piper, I think, then, yeah. They had a nice long runway. It was solid dirt, but it was long.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got ready to come home, the crowd had diminished a little bit. I put both of them in the back seat and flew me home. 2-place airplane, but none of us were big. You know, my dad was pretty short, not heavy, and my mother wasn't heavy, so we weren't overweight. It was just illegal, but
How old were you then?
I don't know, 11, 12.
Flying by yourself.
Oh yeah. I've been flying since I was 10.
That's a pretty amazing, Jim. No wonder they call you fearless. So you
That's all I
always
ever wanted to do.
was fly? That's really cool. Did you have good friends growing up?
Yeah, I think so, a few.
Anybody?
Hardly anybody else flew.
So you were by yourself? Or with your parents?
My dad and I, yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your dad.
He was a self-made man, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up in a little country town. I don't think his folks were alive. I'd never gotten the full story on that, but he, somebody got him a job with General Motors at the experimental department,
Okay.
and they finally made him an engineer. Never went to college, but he was pretty smart, and he knew stuff about. He finally wound up doing a ride in a car, like the shock absorbers and springs, and he knew about all this stuff, but nobody else did. He got ready to retire. They had to get a couple of his kids, you know, to understudy him. 'Cause nobody else knew what he was doing. He was pretty smart.
That's cool. And what about your mom? What was she like?
She was a good mother. It was at the end of the war, still going on a little bit, and she, how did that work? She wound up doing something for the war effort. Went to some kind of school. I don't remember what she did, but
I don't think I asked. What was her name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Oh, that's a pretty name. And what's your birthday?
10/17/28.
It's coming up. My cousin.
I'm 95. You
No,
probably don't know that.
No, I would not have guessed you were
I'll be
95.
96 in October.
Good for you. Yeah, I would not have guessed you were 95.
No, nobody does. I didn't for February. It's kind of funny, but it wasn't important to me. When people ask me, I said, I'm in my late 80s. So last year, in fact, November, I thought, you know, I really ought to figure out how old I am. I don't really know. And I sat down with a pencil, and turned out I'm going to be 96 in October.
And you were still saying you're
It's October.
80s, late 80s?
I thought, people don't believe me when I tell them I'm 96.
That's very cool, Jim. So, did you graduate from high school?
Yep.
And
Went to college for Central Michigan, and it had been a teacher's college. And they were converting after the war. And I wound up in the class where all the GIs came back, and they had the first of everything. And it turned out they gave me this college was a teachers college before, and they were converting it to it's now a big school. Anyhow, this what they call her, my counselor or whatever, had me taking the second year I was there. She had me taking 2 courses, one of which followed the other. And the one instructor saw me in the office. I was a straight A math student. Math was just very, very simple to me. Well, I started going down, and they couldn't figure out why. And I was in the office with the one instructor when the other one walked through. He says, "What are you doing in there?" They got talking, and I had maintained the straight A's for about 3 months, I guess, in the second year of college, and then I hadn't had the first year finished, and I needed that for, and my grades started going down. And that's when I told my folks, I said, that college up there is not very good. So I quit, 1.5 years, and that's when they were what do I want to say? They were putting people in the military, just any place.
mm-hmm.
And I talked to my folks about it, because I was flying, and I said, I don't want to wind up in the Army. And so I joined the Air Force.
And so did you fly in the Air Force?
I was too young. You have to be 21 to be an officer, and you had to be an officer when you graduated from flying school.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. And a girl I was dating, her folks went to Alaska. She went with them. So I volunteered to go to Alaska, and they sent me to the Aleutian Islands, which is death row. I'm just saying that it's the worst place. I'd go back to Korea before I go back up there. And I ran the clearance business for that north area of the Alaskan chain, and that normally it's officers if it's in the military. But this one, I ran it. I had to stay up till 11 o'clock normally. There was a Canadian airline that used to take off about 11 o'clock in Canada and flew the Great Circle route, which came through my area, to go to Tokyo. And I got a new tower officer, captain. He was out there with me a couple times, and a real nice guy. He's the one that got me into flying school. I tried to get in, and they wouldn't take me because I wouldn't be
Old enough.
And but then when I did, he got me in, and away I went.
That's very cool. So, did you get in any trouble when you were a kid? Sounds like you just hung out with your parents, so I don't think you probably were getting in trouble.
Depends how much you mean by trouble. I never got into any bad trouble with anything.
It's usually more naughty stories, kids stuff.
right.
I'm usually looking for naughty stories, like kids stuff. Always good to your sisters?
Well, my younger sister was sickly,
Mm.
and we had a hill about a mile away where we went sledding in the wintertime. And I can remember my mother, you take your sister and go just let her slide down the hill. I'd tow her over, it's about a mile over there. Yeah, maybe 3/4. Yeah, I took care of her, but she died young. And she had a couple kids, and
Oh, she lived to be an adult?
yeah.
I thought when you said she was sickly that she might have passed away as a child.
Well, she'd get good, then she'd be sick again, and she'd get good again. She just never was real healthy. And my older sister, she could knock you down easy. She knocked me down easy. She's still alive, doing well.
Good. So, if you're going to be 96, how old is your sister?
She turned 97 on the 1st of July. We just had a birthday party for her.
Very cool. Yep. Good job remembering. So, what's your favorite memory of your mom?
Well, she was a good mom, and she didn't want to be alone, and that's when she took up flying to be with my dad and I.
And what's your favorite thing about your dad?
Well, he was probably the smartest engineer they had, General Motors. He was in the experimental department, Pontiac, and we worked on cars at night. We had a 3-car garage, and he'd drive a car home from somebody, and we'd take it apart. I'd be ready when he got there, and watching for him driving down the road, and he'd come in and change clothes, and my mother'd be putting dinner on the table, and I'd be taking the water out of the vehicle, getting it ready to take it apart, and we'd have dinner and work on cars.
Keep going.
I'd have to go to bed at 10 o'clock. I have to quit working out there at 10 o'clock.
I'm glad you enjoyed your parents so much.
Pardon?
I'm glad you enjoyed your parents so much. That
Yeah.
really makes me happy.
Yeah, I did.
That's good. So you went to Alaska, to Death Row,
Yeah, Aleutian Islands.
and then what happened?
Well, from there I went to flying school.
To the flying school? Where was that at?
I graduated 51A, so it was 1950.
Okay.
In January, I was in the first class to graduate that year.
That's cool.
Is that what you asked me?
Well, I asked where it was.
Oh, the school?
Mm-hmm.
The basic school was in back in the east someplace, southeast. And then where I graduated was out of Williams Air Force Base. It's not that kind of a base now, but it was then.
And so after you graduated from flying school, what did you do?
They sent me up to Oscoda. Well, sent me to Gabreski's outfit in Detroit. He had a base there, one in Oscoda and one in Chicago. And I got the one in Oscoda. Well, I'm about 30 miles from my folks' cabin in northern Michigan, which was pretty nice.
That is nice.
And I was only one of 3 that wound up in F-86s, which was the hottest airplane, hottest fighter going at the time.
So did you re-enlist, or how long were you in the Air Force?
Yeah, I should figure that out. I don't know. I retired.
So 20 plus years? Isn't that retirement 20 years?
I'm
I think.
sure it was,
Yeah. I was just thinking all that moving around that you had to have been in for a while.
Oh, I was. Yeah.
Yeah, 20 plus
I
years.
wasn't married when I went in the Air Force, but I was, after a while, I went to Korea, 51 I think,
Yeah.
51 or 52, 51 I think, and spent a tour. I don't know if I spent 2 tours over there or not.
What was Korea like? You said Alaska was worse.
Well, Korea, we fly in combat, you know.
Yeah.
I got hit once,
On your body or your plane?
both.
Oh gosh, where'd you get hit?
Right inside, I still got a scar.
Oh gosh.
I made it back to the base. I was flying over North Korea at the time, and when I got hit, and I made it back to the base, and they told me some of this. I don't remember, so I couldn't get out of the airplane. I lost too much blood, and first guy up the ladder knew me. He come up to get the camera. I was taking pictures for reconnaissance.
Okay.
And he said my face he looked like I forget what he said, you know, white.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he looked in the floor and there was a pool of blood, and he fell off the ladder. Well, he almost fell off.
Yes.
2 guys caught him. I made it out. Well, I couldn't get out, but they hoisted me out. And I made it about halfway to the ambulance and passed out. I don't remember anything for 2 or 3 days. I'd run out of fluids.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're very lucky to have survived.
Yep.
And then you went back for some more after you healed up?
Yep.
You didn't get discharged then?
Oh no.
No?
Oh no, I stayed in.
Wait,
All I wanted to do was fly.
I know, that's what you said.
And they never would give me any bullets.
Oh, really?
Huh?
You just flew.
Cameras.
Cameras. It's because you're too nice.
I flew alone
Yeah.
in reconnaissance, and they just would not give me, well, they gave me bullets for my .45 in case I got shot down, but for the airplane, never ever would give me any bullets because they knew I'd be out shooting something up, and they didn't want that. They kept me in reconnaissance because I was good at it, I guess.
I am sure you were.
That's what they said.
When did you meet your wife?
My first wife.
Okay, your first wife.
Met her in Michigan. I don't know if we went to school together.
So did you marry her when you were in the Air Force?
Yeah, I was in the Air Force before that.
Was it before you went to Korea? Did you marry her? Or after?
After.
After.
Yeah, she told everybody she bought 3 different style wedding gowns for the time of year because they had me coming home, and then they put me on different projects and keep me. And so I was going to come back to the States, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times before I got here. And they just kept me busy.
So when did you guys get married? What time of year was it?
I think it was springtime. Springtime or summer. I was being transferred. We were set up to get married at 2 or 3 different times, and they send me someplace. And we got married. I was on leave, coming back from Korea, my second trip to Korea, I think. We got married, and I'd been sent to South Carolina, Shaw Field.
Okay.
So when we got married, that was our honeymoon trip to South Carolina.
So is she the mother of your children?
Yep.
What was her name?
Sylvia.
Sylvia. And did she pass away, or did you
No.
get divorced?
No. No, she's still alive.
Oh, okay.
I saw her not too long ago. Yeah, we had 2 boys.
2 boys. What are their boys' names?
One is Jim, obviously.
Yeah.
The other was Tim.
Oh.
Timothy Bryan.
Why'd you pick that name?
I don't know.
Just sounded good with Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll give you a little story. It was several years, I don't know how old he was, but we got some stuff in the mail for T.B. Fosdick. And I told my wife, I said, "Who's T.B. Fosdick? We got some mail from him, or for him." Well, it's Timothy Bryan. We never used that initials, you know. Just for that.
So you have Jim and Tim, and were you at home then? Like, were they with you wherever you were stationed?
Yeah, I was still in the Air Force.
Right, but I mean, did your family get to be with you, or did you
Oh,
go?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't know if you were still traveling.
Well, I did travel
Yeah.
on different projects. I'd be gone for a month or 2.
Then come home. So where'd you raise the boys the majority of the time?
Well, South Carolina, they were both born there.
Okay.
In Shaw Field, Sumter, South Carolina. And she didn't trust the base doctor that she would had to see to having children, so she went to a civilian.
Oh.
He talked about the women he doctored, I guess, at the Officers Club, and she found out about it. And she said no. So she had both boys in town, Sumter, South Carolina.
What did you love about being a dad?
What about it?
What did you love about being a dad?
Got 2 boys.
Did they like flying?
Yeah.
Did they fly with you?
I got them both pilot's license. Neither one of them is flying now. They just don't have the money. Well, they probably do, but they're spending it on other things. they're not into flying
Like you were.
well, I still am.
When's the last time you flew?
Boy, I don't remember. I've owned several airplanes, and civilian airplanes, but through military last, I'm sure. And I just haven't had an airplane. I don't remember when I.
It's been a while.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. I can still fly.
Oh, I bet you can.
A lot of years driving a car, and safer.
They say that when people are afraid of flying, that it's safer than cars.
Oh yeah.
Even the big planes.
I would never drive any place if I could fly. Never.
Where you said you've been all over. Where's your favorite place you ever went?
In the world, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't been all over. If I said that, it's wrong. With the clearances I had, like we had a hunting trip set up in Africa when I was in Europe. 5 of us. And at the last minute, they canceled me. The base found out about it and said, "You can't go." The others went. I had too many clearances. And I never got to Africa. Never got to. I don't know if I got to India or not, but the rest of them I've been there.
Yeah. That's pretty all over, Jim.
Yeah. Well, the day that Khrushchev was talking to our president, the president was telling him, we don't do these things you're talking about. Khrushchev was accusing him, of coming to Russia, and we weren't supposed to be in China. Well, I was in Vladivostok that day, and he knew it, I'm sure. But go where you need to go. Yeah.
So what was your favorite place?
Favorite place?
Mm-hmm.
In the cockpit of an airplane.
Sure. Or walking. Whatever was your favorite place. Oh, in the I anywhere. Okay, I didn't catch what I thought you were asking me, but
Your place to live, you mean?
no, you're fine.
No.
I misunderstood your answer. Your favorite place is a cockpit of an airplane.
That's right.
I probably could have answered my own question, huh?
Probably.
So, besides flying, what kind of things do you like to do? Hunt? What's your favorite?
Fish.
What's your favorite animal that you hunted?
Well, whatever's in season. I hunt them all.
Yeah,
And I like the deep sea fishing.
really?
When I was stationed in Montana, we used to make trips out of, it's a town that separates Oregon and Washington State, where the river comes into the ocean there. We used to go fishing there, and it was great fishing.
It starts with an A. I can't think of it either. Let me look. I'll remind us both.
There's a town in Washington we used to go, and we had a motel that gave us good rates, but we went there every year. Oh, I can tell you what.
Can you tell me too? Astoria. Did you go fishing at Astoria?
There's another name. The town we went to. I thought I'd have it right there, but I don't. I don't have it. Well, it's right where Washington and Oregon come together, and it's on the Washington side.
Oh, on the Washington side. Okay, I was looking on the Oregon side.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it
No, that's why Astoria is Oregon. Washington.
said Washington side.
Columbia.
Right where the river goes into the ocean. Boy, you'd think I'd remember that, wouldn't you?
Oh, that
It
says
hasn't been
there's
long.
Lyle.
Pardon?
Lyle?
No,
That's not it? Okay.
been a long time since I've been there.
I don't know that I ever was on the Washington side. I was in Astoria. Across from.
So Astoria's in Oregon,
Right, so that's
and
but
right across the river.
Megler? That's
What-
not
what is-
Megler, Washington? Megler? That's not it?
No.
I don't know then. It says there's a
So
bridge.
last good sized town, and the river separates Oregon and Washington. We used to fish right in the mouth of the river. Fishing was great.
I bet. It's a big river.
Yep.
So, tell me about your second wife. When did you meet her?
It was some kind of a party that people were having, and she was there alone. Remember that. That's where I met her. And I was going through a divorce at the time, and I just talked to her the other day. She still has, I made her the general partner of a partnership that owns 10% of the last project I did, which was up north of Washington, north of the Bay Area. I don't know if you're familiar with that area or not, but where the San Francisco airport is up north.
Mm-hmm.
Straight east across the freeway, and there was a woodlot there, and the next piece was a 10-acre commercial. I was sent out to find property to build apartments for the elderly, and I came across this 10 acres of commercial in the middle of R3 and R4, and I put 800 and some mini warehouses in there. That was my last project. I still own 10% of it. And it's making money like,
Oh, I bet.
well, people didn't, they built apartments all around it. I mean, several miles in every direction, it was apartments. People needed a place to store. I had one lady that came in, she'd been crying. They was forcing her out of her rental unit someplace, and mine weren't finished. But the first group, I did them on, well, the county didn't know what to do, you know, building 800 units. They didn't know whether to have one, what do you call it, one ticket to do it or several. And we divided it up into different projects so that they could finalize them and start charging, you know. I had one lady come in there crying, she being forced out of hers. I rented her one. I wasn't supposed to. And one of the people that he watched that stuff. He worked for the government. And he wanted to know what that woman was. She happened to come by that day. What was she doing? And I didn't really lie to him, but it was close. She did some stuff for us, and I told him, I said, she's keeping some of her equipment in. She can't find a place around here to rent. And that one is finished, and that's building equipment. And it wasn't, but other stuff. But there was equipment in it too, so.
Just a little white lie.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt anybody.
Didn't hurt anybody.
So your second wife is still alive as well?
Yeah.
Good.
She lives in Fresno.
Did you have a third wife? Or you stopped at 2?
That's the end. No more.
No more?
No.
Okay. So what, after you got rid of wife number 2, what'd you do with the rest of your life?
Lived.
So when you retired from the Air Force, did you work after that?
Did I what?
Did you work like a civilian job after that?
I think I did, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Well, that project we were building, my operations officer in Europe, before that, when I was still in service, was the number 2 guy in a corporation in San Francisco. And they semi-hired me, or actually made me a partner. They sent me out to find property to do certain things they thought should be built.
Okay.
And so that's the work I did.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're like a developer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you ride motorcycles?
I had one for a while.
I thought that when I was here last, when I first met you, I thought you were wearing a motorcycle vest.
Well, I've got a vest, but it's not basically a motorcycle vest, I don't think.
You're not an Eagle rider? I thought you were for some reason.
Well,
I could be making it up.
yeah, we call ourselves Eagle Riders. Part of the Eagles here in town.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why we did that. I probably did it. I might have had a motorcycle then, I don't know. I've ridden them several times.
I'm familiar with the Eagle Riders up in Coeur d'Alene and Spokane, so I thought maybe you were into motorcycles. Because they like them up there.
I wonder if they stole our name. I named it in the Eagle Riders, it's got to be 10, 15 years ago.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Can I clean?
Would you mind coming back just because we're doing an interview? Thank you.
Yeah, she's cleaning.
Yeah, she said she'll come back, but that's fine. So, let me see. What kind of advice would you give to your boys?
Well, my older boy probably wouldn't listen. I give him advice now and then, but on what subject?
Life.
He's married, got, have you got 2 children or 1? You think I would know, wouldn't you? I guess I'd better find out about that. My younger son is married. He has 2 daughters. In fact, I've got a note written out to get to him. so I know how many children those daughters have. I don't know. I just did that 2 days ago.
Families get big.
And yeah, I'm going to keep up with 2 generations. I guess you call that. Past that, they get spread out. They don't know who you are.
Well, since your Jim Jr. wouldn't take your advice, what would you tell your grandkids? What's some life advice you'd give the grands?
Hardly any.
Hardly any?
Depends on the subject.
What should they do to have a happy life?
My grandchildren?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You seem to have had a happy life, so that's...
Pardon?
You have had a happy life, so
Yeah.
that I thought maybe you had some good advice.
Oh, I don't know if I give them any advice or not. Well, the one boy has just girls, and I never raised a girl, so. No, I don't. I talk to them now and then, but just as a grandparent.
Grandpas are the best. They are. Well, do you have anything else you want to tell me?
Depends on the subject.
I want to hear anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, let's see. I was stationed in the islands out here when I was in the Air Force, Hawaii. That's where I brought up my older son. And my younger son, I think he went to school there too. I think he was old enough before we left. I was gone quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so my wife raised him pretty much, not alone, but some.
Yeah.
I was off on trips quite a bit, and I was at home quite a bit, but I was off on trips too, so they didn't have a dad around all the time.
Would you, if you could go back, would you change that?
I don't think so. They had good time with their mother, and I still had a say in what they were doing and all that. And,
So it was a good balance.
yeah, when I was home, they did what I told them to.
How come you and your first wife got a divorce?
I met my second wife.
Oh. That makes sense. It just seemed like you were a good team.
Well, we still are.
Still get along?
Yeah.
That's good.
And you talking about my second wife?
Your first wife.
Oh. Yeah, we're not much of a team anymore. She's had some medical problems, and the boys have been keeping me up to speed on that. I wanted to get by and see her, but I haven't had a chance yet.
You gonna come out?
In kinds of parts of the world. I'm closer now. I think she's still in San Diego area, I believe. Last I heard. She got remarried. I never met the guy, but I heard he was a plumber. But it didn't last very long.
Oh, really?
And I jokingly told her, I said,
But so she married a plumber and you told her something funny. You were snickering.
oh, I told her. After Jim, everything was downhill.
That's why it didn't last.
And she kind of believes that, I think. Both of them do.
Well,
And the second wife and I still have a partnership in a project I built, and it's starting to put out some pretty good money. I made her the general partner for that because she's good with bookwork, and she lives in Fresno. I think I said that.
I think so.
And we did our own divorce. We went up, got a book. I mean, we're still friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember why we got a divorce. You know?
I was just going to ask, how come you got a divorce?
I don't remember. I guess we didn't see eye to eye on some things and decided that was the best route. But we're still good friends. Like I said, I made her the general partner of the last project I did. I kept 10% of it, and it's a pretty good sized project. It's putting out a lot of money.
I'm glad you're still friends.
Yeah,
That makes life easier.
well, it does.
Sometimes fighting's just not worth
No reason
it.
to be an enemy if you can have a friend.
Yeah.
And if you're not suited to be married, then that's something different. Won't do that again.
Not gonna get married at 96? I bet there's some girls around here that would take you.
I know. I get pushed now and then, but
Do you really?
yeah,
Oh gosh.
I just don't. I really don't want to get married again.
Yeah.
You know, did it twice, it didn't work. And I'm good doing what I'm doing, I think.
Well, I've enjoyed my time with you, Jim.
Good.
Thank you for talking to me.
No problem.
Well, and Candy's my mom. Did she tell you that?
I think she did.
Yeah, so I'll be down here. I'll probably come bug you lots of times. So I miss her. I don't get to see her as much now that she's working down here.
Candy.
Mm-hmm. The nurse.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The head nurse, yep.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
You're quite welcome.